Hey, what's up everyone? Tim here from Everyday Tactical Vids. Today we're looking at this, which is the new Condor Terrasaur. I saw this in early 2019 and it is early July 2019 now, and these are now available at more and more stores. So as time goes on, you're going to see them, a lot of different retailers will be carrying this knife. So Condor Terrasaur, 1095 high carbon steel. It does come with 3 different colors for your handle. You can get it with the tan, which is what this is. I would call it a desert tan, leaning toward a little, just like a tiny tinge away from that towards maybe a dark earth. And then we've got a OD version, which got a little hint of Ranger green, I would say, and then a straight up like black handle. So cool looking knife. Got a high density polypropylene handle. Pretty neutral. There you can see the seam down the back there and on the underside as well. You can see it as a full tang knife, nice big lanyard hole there. Pretty neutral in hand, easy to get a grip on. Lots of different grips, however you want to, do your cuts. There's not a lot of finger grooves and things like that, so that's definitely a plus. Let me give you some of the details as far as length and those different types of things. All right, so like I said, it comes in green, black, and tan as well. Your blade length is 4.15 inches. Your end-to-end length is 8.83. That makes your handle length 4.68 inches. Like I said, 1095 for your steel. They call it high impact polypropylene for your handle. It does have a Scandinavian grind. Your thickness is 0.12 inches. It is a drop point, which is, standard for a lot of outdoor and bushcraft style knives. Let me show you the sheath here, made of the same polypropylene. It drops in and you're gonna hear it click into place. I don't know if you could hear that, but it does click into place, and you have this little loop that you can, so you can put that obviously on your belt, and then if you wanna take it off, as you can see, it's pretty securely locked in. You just gotta kind of twist it and it'll slide off. You can see there's a little notch there, and then there's a little notch inside the loop as well. So slide this down in, and then there you go, there's the click to click it into place. So if you don't want it on the loop, you can take it off. If you do, you can keep it on as well. So just a cool looking knife. I will tell you, when I got mine, it was, I don't know if I would call it dull, but it was definitely not as sharp as I wanted it. So I took it to the Work Sharp Field Sharpener, and now it's much better. You can see on mine, I think you can see it there, it's a little bit of a dip in on the grind. So the Scandi comes back like this, and then right when it gets towards the handle, does a little bit in and then levels out again. So not terrible, but I've cleaned it up and it's got a good sharp edge on it. Let me show you the profile there real quick. So strong tip. Feels like it's got a 90-degree spine on there. We'll throw some sparks off my fire steel in a minute. But when this first came out, I first saw it and I thought, okay, this is going to be competition for the Moras out there. Does it compete with something like the Garberg? Yeah, I mean, if you get that high carbon one, but this is definitely less cost for the knife. So my initial thoughts are cool. It looks nice. I've already done some woodworking with it. It's worked well once I got a good edge on it. When Joe contacted me and said, hey, do you want a review? And I said yes. I should have said I want the green because that would be my preferred color, but the tan's actually pretty cool as well. I'll throw a little lanyard on there and we'll test it out. So let's start putting this thing through the paces and see how it works. So I can already tell you that I did a bunch of feather sticking with this guy, and it definitely does the job nicely. You can see it's gonna have no problem. That Scandi grind, once it's sharp, it's gonna do the job for you nicely. So there's that. Obviously, no problem for the Terrasaur. As you can see right here, I'm gonna make a cut into this branch. This is a branch off of a maple that's alive, but I'm gonna make like a pot hanger with the Terrasaur. So I wanna get something that's green, so I'm just gonna use that beaver chew method here to slice into that, to take this guy off. Every once in a while when I'm doing this, I'll get these little feathers sticking out, and I'll just kind of do this to clear them out of the way, and then work into it again. That's easy work for the Terrasaur. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this extra little piece on the end, so I'm just going to cross baton right here, see if I can break this little end section off. So there you go, that's what that looks like now. Little spot of dirt right there, which sort of looks like a ding, but it's not. There's just a little little leftover portion of the bark. And I've got the hook squared away there. That's gonna go over a branch or something over the fire. And then I wanna cut a couple notches here, here, and here that I can put the bail of the pot, or whatever I'm cooking on. I can hook it on there, hook it on here, and hook it up a little bit higher. So what I'm gonna do is just get each one of these started, put them about an inch apart. Maybe do 3 of them. And then so you can see they're kind of starting to feather up there. I like to usually cut in at 90 degrees like this, so I know what I'm doing, and then pop that little section out so you can start to see where that little divot will be for each one. So there's your 3 little divots right there. So there's a look at the first little hook for a bail. In retrospect, looking at this, I should have gotten a thicker piece of wood, but it'll work. It'll definitely work. Key is that you have, there you can see now the hook. Key is it's got to kind of dip down in and then come up, so you have a little bit of a lip to hang your bail on. There's your first hook there, you can see. Second one I had to skip, it's just a little too weak there, it's too thin, I don't want to snap it. And we're starting to get our next hook. Let's see if you can see that. Yeah, a little bit hard to see, but we're starting to get our next hook there to hang the bail on. And all with the Terrasaur, and yeah, I mean, it's definitely detail work, definitely bushcrafty type things, and it's doing a great job at it. Did a little bit more work there. You can see the top one and the bottom one's starting to come together a little bit more too. All right, we're gonna check out the spine here, see if it's feels like it's 90 degrees, looks like it, so let's just do a little scraping here. I would say I felt spines that are more sharply 90 degrees, and then ones that are definitely less. But I think this will still throw a fire steel. But as far as scraping some of the wood, you can see a little bit here. Those little curls I'm starting to get. It's definitely taking some of the wood off, but not doesn't feel like a really sharp angled 90 degree spine. Let's give this 90 degree spine a shot. All right, so there's proof that we definitely just used it with the fire steel. I'll show you the other side, it's a little bit nicer. Thoughts on this knife? Overall, thumbs up. It's done a great job on all the tasks. I mean, I made my little hook for hanging, a pot over a fire. Made some feather sticks. I am looking over there because that's where the fire was. Made a fire. I used the spine to get a little bit of scraping done off some wood. I did a little cross batoning. I didn't baton with this thing. You could if you wanted to. With under a 5-inch blade, it's going to be very small pieces of wood, so I think it's going to do just fine with that. But I'll tell you the one downside so far of this knife is that it didn't come as sharp as I wanted it to. So just a heads up, that could be a thing. Sometimes when you get a Condor knife, you gotta work on the edge a little bit. It didn't take me 3 hours. It probably took me 10 minutes to get maybe even less, maybe 7 minutes to get it all squared away. But get a low-cost ceramic rod from like Walmart and just become a little bit more comfortable with putting an edge. A bunch of times on one side, a bunch of times on the other side. There's tons of videos out there on how to sharpen knives. But once I got it sharpened, it's held that edge pretty nicely actually right now. So I did a bunch of work with it on camera and off camera, and it definitely held up nicely. So for sub 50 bucks, that's a really good deal. You got a couple different colors you can get it in. Nice big lanyard hole, as I mentioned before. I'm gonna put some sort of cool lanyard on there. Very efficient, functional sheath. It does the job. It's nothing super fancy. If you want to upgrade, you can. All the cutting I did in hand. I mean, I showed you that before, but it's a very neutral handle. All the cutting I did in hand. That checkered grip reminds me a little bit of Spider Crow's. I forget what it's called, but it's like basically it's made so that when you put your hand on it, you can't pull your hand one way or the other. It really locks in. Gives me good control, but I don't feel like it's beating up my hand terribly. So I think this knife is going to be a win across the board for Condor. I think for sub 50, for $10.95 and what you're getting, I think a lot of people are going to like this. So yeah, I think you'll see this a lot more frequently in different people's bushcraft loadouts and stuff. It's been cool. Like I said, my one issue is that I'd like to see a little bit sharper when it came, but other than that, this thing has definitely done a nice job. I've got a full bushcraft bag from Helicon. That's like a ton of bushcraft gear for me to go out, and I really have a full day in the woods. And then I use my Hidden Woodsman haversack for just kind of like short outings. And I had a different bushcraft knife in there, but I think I'm going to swap that one out and put this one in and start using this a little bit more because I really enjoyed it so far. Cool knife, sub 50, $10.95, good value. Let me hear your thoughts if you have one, if you've got one already, or after seeing this video, what do you think about the knife, and changes, information you'd share with me so I can share it back to Joe Flowers over at Condor. And I can tell you that he takes the feedback seriously. They can't always make changes immediately, but as people have talked to me and I've shared with him, he's like, yeah, that's true, we should work on that, or we should fix that. And I have seen them actually make some changes. So definitely share feedback with me, and I'll pass that word on to Joe over at Condor Tool and Knife. All right, guys, thanks as always for checking out the videos. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids if you haven't done so already. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, check us out on Instagram, Tumblr, and Vero as well. More videos coming soon. Take care.